there, and she, like I said in the video, her and her kids, she has 3 little kids that come with her all the time, and they worked at the library, they painted, they cleaned, just about every time we have a work day, she is there with her kids. And it's such a blessing, and now she's actually a part-time employee of the library, so that is really cool. So, the other young man there is Nick Lee. He's the one that called me and fingered me to do the library. So about 5 years ago in October, so first started talking about it, met with the library board and stuff. So there was actually supposed to be somebody else on the panel. She actually sent the text a little while ago. Sharon White, I guess she hit a deer last night and did a lot of damage to her car, so Sharon's not going to be here, so you get extra questions. You all right with that? Nick's shaking his head. Come on. You got to talk to anybody. So it's going to be kind of hard to outdo them kids, though, isn't it? Yes, it is. All right. So Nick, tell us a little bit how you got involved and what made you get involved. You've been in Hopkins Park and doing ministry, different things and stuff for many, many years, long before the library and the rest of us got involved. Go ahead.
Well, it goes back to probably about 1995, and I'm a member of Crossroads Community Church, and we just became aware of Hopkins Park, hadn't even heard of it, and realized that this community needed some assistance, needed some help, and some of our church members went down and met with community leaders, and we realized that this there's some needs that need to be met in this community, and we were in a position to fulfill some of those needs. Some of these folks were living in pretty rough housing and heating with wood, and we started delivering firewood down there and just helping with home repairs and things like that. And it didn't take very long to run across a gentleman by the name of Fesley Beverly, and Mr. Beverly was adamant about the need for a library in the community. And every year at the Pembroke Days Festival, which is a huge turnout, everybody from the community shows up, he would set up a booth and promote the library. And he cast a vision to us that this community needs a library to overcome some illiteracy issues and some of the problems within the homes. And after some years, we come to realize that he was dead on. We worked in a lot of homes and see families with absolutely no books in the homes, crowded conditions, and no place for young people to just have a little quiet time and be mentored or even sit and read a book. So we got involved, and there was a whole group of different people that did research to find out what it would take to get a library in the community. And in the meantime, Mr. Beverly had initiated a library in the community, isolated from any political entities, and they started a library in an old farmhouse, which I think was on that video. Tiny little facility, and very inadequate, but they still function as a legitimate library. And we attended some board meetings, and we realized the vision was to have a functional library. The Friends of the Library board was just adamant that they needed a better library in the community to make a difference. And after several years of planning and researching, both from people inside the community as well as outside the community, and it was a team effort without a doubt, we were able to start that library, and that was about 3 years ago. Rich says I fingered him, but I think he fingered me, and became involved, and he knows a lot more people than I do. So he pulled together a tremendous team of people that resources that allowed us to get going on that building. And 3 years later, we've got a functional library. It's not completed, but it's up and running, and it's making a difference in the community. We're so excited that the Olivet students have participated with us come alongside. A lot of those students have been hands-on with painting and drywalling and whatever else they could help with. And they are now starting a child and family development program in the library on Saturdays, and Saturday afternoons. And they'll be having people come in and be mentored just to improve life quality. And so we're just excited that there's more and more partners showing up. People from the community have really stepped up and are participating. We're excited that a lot of young people are coming in after school, using the computers, using the Wi-Fi facility to do homework. And we're seeing good activity in that library.
Thanks, Nick. It's very hard to be both our friends, isn't it? A lot of people, they think it's great seeing our number pop up. I know they do. But anyway, yeah, so Nick alluded to the library is not quite finished. We're still working on a couple bathrooms. It's up and running. It's functional. I had to do a little bit of work in the kitchen yet. We need to build some bookshelves. We're actually looking for some cadets or youth groups or something. Want to maybe be good projects, build some wood bookshelves, and we could do some more book stocking. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and a lot of people have been using that library. Every time I sneak in and just show up and stop in there, somebody's in there using that library. So, okay, Stacy. I guess we kind of touched on how you got involved. But anyway, how did you get involved originally with the library project, and what are some of the opportunities that the new library gives us?
Actually, the tornado in '09 hit my farm, and I was without water. My electrical was knocked out, and a guy come and rigged it. And someone told me about Nick Lee, and he come and he brought someone and they fixed it. And let's see, that went out in November. I think it was like April, I had running water again. I was bringing in water previous to that. And he said, well, my 25-year-old actually said, my mom volunteers for a lot of things. And so he told me about the library, and I took my 3-year-old, my 4-year-old granddaughter, and my 5-year-old daughter, and we just started volunteering. I do that with my kids a lot. I drag them around to different events, nieces, nephews. You could get 3 kids or 12 kids. We come to do whatever we can for whoever needs it. That's where it started.
All right, so the second half of the question, then, what are some of the opportunities that the new library gives us?
It's amazing. Kids that you normally would see on the side of the road, they have somewhere to go now. Some of them bring their little brothers and sisters, nieces, nephews. I get to help people with homework. It's a safe place. They talk, they socialize. The older people come in. We actually have 3 or 4 volunteers that come in, and they draw people in. And people just in general use the facility, whether it's computers, the books. Some of the old people really don't get out unless they have somewhere to go. And this gives them the opportunity. And they get to mingle with young people as well. Like I said, the big thing, there's a lot of unrest in our area right now. And we are the safe haven. And we're there for whoever wants to come. So.
Thank you. Nick, a little bit if you could. Thank you. One more thing for you, Nick. Kind of touched on it, I guess, but what is some other potential for the library? What do we see going forward? What can that bring us?
Well, one of the things that we were told early on is the young people in this community need vocational training. And we've never been able to accomplish that to a large degree. And we'd like to be able to do that and have men with skills come into the community and do some hands-on training with the young men and young ladies in the community. They're willing to do it and willing to learn. When we go down and do any kind of home repairs, plumbing, electrical, roofing, whatever the case is, we always try to make a point of having young people work alongside the skilled guys And it's always reassuring because at the end of the day, that young guy has learned a definite skill that he can retain for life and go back home and use those skills in his own place. That's one of our long-term goals. There's been some attempts to do that. It's hard to get it accomplished. It's got to be organized in order to do vocational training, but it's doable, and it'll impact that community tremendously. There's so many of the young guys that have no skills. They dropped out of school early, and if we've proved it, and we've seen it over and over, if you give them some assistance, give them some direction, it's fruitful. They take the ball and run with it. That's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. We got one more thing for Stacy, and I almost neglected it. When you came in or on your way out, you see a pile of firewood there with some pictures. Crossroads Church is a firewood ministry. They sell firewood to raise funds to help people in the community, home repairs and so forth. It's a little bit of a financial engine for the library as well. Kind of a loose partnership. I don't know how we define that between Faith in Action and the Crossroads Ministry, but we intend to expand that, maybe even to the point where we can put a couple guys to work. So if you're at all interested in firewood and stuff, take some flyers with you. Okay, Stacy, one more thing quick. Jody's over there giving me the fingers. So, tell us briefly about your relationship with Faith and Action. Can you do that for a second?
It's been all positive. If they call me, I will go anywhere they ask me to go. Like I said, I bring my children, whether it's mine and my nieces and nephews. My son will be 6 years old in a few weeks, so he lives in an all-woman household, and he loves these guys. They take the time to talk to him like he's, and we've been to a lot of functions, fun functions, the fishing, the pumpkin patch, so it's not all work. And he's right, it's one of those, a lot of the young guys, they need a role model. I'm a strong mom, I do a lot of stuff, but I'm still not the guy that, so I think it's very positive, and they, I help other people as well, and if I run into someone that needs something, they start calling, and usually Jody, Nick, Rich, somebody will be like, oh, yeah, we know where to get it. And then I pick it up, and they drop it off, and we get it where it needs to go. So, it's amazing. I would, like I said, they call me, I'll come. So, that's it.
All right, thank you guys. Give our panel a hand. Come on up, Corey. Corey is going to